It's Electric Football. Your favorite duo returns for Week 3 of the 2018 season. Filling in for them are Steve Brown and Stu Pace.
Okay.
We won an award.
We'll go with that. That's
All right.
true. One-time Geo Knows Award winners.
Yeah, what year was that?
I'm sorry, that opening was just terrible. I'm leaving. I'm going out Vontae Davis style. And yes, I am wearing the official Electric Football shirt. Woo, baby. Anyway,
So it's just me?
it should be. Let's just roll.
All right.
You do it. Jets
All right,
Browns.
so Jets-Browns this Thursday night. Well, evidently the Jets aren't going undefeated. After their first week dismantling of the Detroit Lions, Jet fans around here were pretty much, just, it's Joe Namath, we're going to win. And they didn't. Meanwhile, the Cleveland Browns can't catch a break. The tie the first week, they were hanging in there last week. Great game by the Browns. That Tyrod Taylor bomb to tie the game was a surprise play. They needed 4 or 5 yards, and he went for it all. I thought that was a ballsy move.
Hell of a catch, too.
Hell of a catch, too. He had outrun the defenders by 2-3 yards. It was a beautiful thing. Just made it in the end zone. The Browns are 2 field goals away from a win, and I think they get the win this week. I think they're coming home. Their defense is pretty damn good. Sam Darnold can be baited into mistakes, as we saw with the Dolphins on McDonald's interception. And I've already forgotten the defensive lineman's name, Myles Garrett for Cleveland. He could get back there often. The Dolphins were pressuring Darnold, and I think the Browns can do that. I'm taking the Browns.
I'm with you. The exact same thinking. They're at home. They're Blake Gonzalez kicker away from 2-0 start. They're a much better team. They cleared out Josh Gordon, which I could not. We'll discuss this later too when we talk about the Patriots game. But you stuck with him all this long, and unless I missed something, unless there was something internal, all of a sudden he's just like, hey, let's ship him off now that we're actually turning a corner and we're good. By the way, Kevin Maule jersey is bothering the shit out of me. Give me 1 second.
All right, sorry. Anyway, so we're both taking the Browns. I'll start here with the Saints and Falcons. I don't know. The Saints almost lost a squeaker to the Browns, while the Falcons looked pretty good against Carolina. Saints can't run the ball as usual. And it looks like Devontae Freeman is missing another game here. I'm taking the Falcons just because I think they're a little better on defense than the Saints. Well, probably a lot better on defense than the Saints. And they pretty much held Cam last week to no rushing touchdowns. So I'm taking them.
I'm with you. The Saints are very close to being 0-2. I like the Falcons at home. I like the Falcons defense a little better than the Saints. It almost comes down to, like, is Michael Thomas going to outcatch Julio Jones or vice versa?
Right.
To some degree, they're both one-dimensional when it comes to crunch time. But I like the Falcons in this game. I'm kind of still on the whole. The Falcons were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They're a talented team. I can't quite erase that 28-3 at one point over the Patriots. I can't quite erase that from my memory. The Saints seem to be fading fairly quickly now. I'm going Falcons.
Yeah, okay. Take Packers, Redskins.
You want me to take it?
Take it.
So if Aaron Rodgers is standing, the Packers have a chance. I'm a Viking fan. I'm 52. I've been a Viking fan for about 49 of those freaking years. And even I got to tell you, the call on Clay Matthews was a joke. We should be 1-1. The Packers should have gotten that win. You can't ask a guy breaking away from a blocker, wrapping up a quarterback, to suddenly somehow figure out how, when he's off the ground, to like twist his body and land wrong or put his arms out at the last second. You can't untrain these guys that have been playing football the same way for 30 years and suddenly say, okay, now we want you to tackle, but you can only use your nose and your left ear to make that tackle.
Yeah, he moved his head away from the body. He came in clearly in the center of his chest. It looked like a clean as all hit.
Yeah, no, a clean as all hit? You just said it looked like a clean as all hit.
Yeah.
Clean as all hit. Okay, I'll live with that.
Clean as all hit.
Yeah, I was expecting clean as hell hit or something.
No,
I don't know why. Yeah, so I get it, and it's because of Anthony Barr. So it's a hit on Rodgers. So it's a little ironic that we benefit on both sides of this thing.
Right.
If the guy lifts him up and jacks his body into him and tries to drive the shoulder into him as they're going down, yes, penalty. That's fine. But you already can only hit them from here to about here. It's like the strike zone in Major League Baseball now. It's getting smaller and smaller. And even if you're in the strike zone, they care about how you do it. And there's just no way, with the speed of the game, with the way they've been doing this for so many years, there's no way to expect the defensive players to do this. I mean,
Agreed.
It's getting to the point where the defensive players are going to have to play with their hands tied behind their back and try and, like, body the guy down. I don't understand.
Ridiculous. Can you imagine Elway and Marino playing in this league now, where the wide receivers are running free all day long? They'd have 8,000 yards.
Oh, I'm sure they would love
My
it.
God.
I mean, it's certainly the NFL wants a Madden-like video game. They almost want the Arena Football League scores. The Chiefs Steelers is like the perfect game for them now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm old school, but I can watch a defensive game as long as there's good plays being made on both sides of the game.
Yep.
A 10-3 game is fine by me if it's a well-played, not 7,000 penalties,
Mm-hmm.
not was that a catch, was that not a catch, let's review it kind of game. And I miss those games. They're rare nowadays.
Yep.
Let's hope we get one. Oh, did you do your pick? No.
No.
So
You started.
I'm going Green Bay. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm taking the Packers too here. The Redskins, I thought, looked like a very well-balanced team in Week 1, and I thought they could continue that. They weren't able to do that against an average Colts team. I'm taking the Pack till they show me that they lose.
Speaking of an average Colts team, they go against the Eagles, who get back Carson Wentz at exactly the right time. So Foles did everything you could want from the man. He won a Super Bowl. He got you off to a good start, but they suffered a loss last week, and now it's time for Wentz to take it back over. There were people that were wondering, oh, could you get Foles out of there? Yes, you can, because Wentz is a MVP caliber player.
Mm-hmm.
Will he show some rust here? I don't know. He's a young, brave, strong kid. He doesn't seem like the kind that's going to come back all tentative. Maybe it's human nature. Maybe he will. But I like the Eagles at home with the emotional lift of their
Star returning.
beloved quarterback returning.
Yeah,
I'm taking Eagles.
They were embarrassed by Tampa Bay. The Colts won easily over Washington. But I wouldn't want to walk into Philly after that loss by the Eagles and Carson Wentz coming back. Jay Ajayi may be injured and not playing this week. I don't know how much that affects Philly, because he really hasn't done anything in the first 2 weeks that would make me say, oh, that's a great loss for them. This could be either close or a blowout. I'm picking Eagles, and I'm picking blowout.
We have Bills against the Vikings, and as we talked about, the Bills are so bad. The guys are just like, I'm done with my NFL career. You keep your millions. I'm not going out there with this bunch of guys. My rule of thumb for Week 3 is if a team is 0-2, bet them to become 0-3, because they are telling you something in those first 2 weeks. If you saw anything out of Nathan Peterman or Josh Allen leading the Bills, and McCoy might be hurt now too.
Yeah.
So take away their one true professional player, throw them up against a voracious defense at home. Vikings need this game desperately because we have a couple of tough road games coming up. We jettisoned our 5th round. I think we even traded up to get him kicker, who missed 4 kicks. Perhaps other teams have missed, shorter, important kicks than the Vikings, but Blair Walsh and Daniel Carlson are certainly doing a good job of missing kicks that I could probably make on the Fairlawn freaking high school
We
field.
actually did 10, 15 years ago.
Stu actually hit the crossbar, I think, in his first attempt, which was a
That's
beautiful
true.
thing. So I'm taking my Vikes to win this one.
Yeah.
We're 1.5, games for the season. We were gifted the one with the Packers. Let's see if we can get to 2.5 with this one.
Yeah, the Vikings look to get very healthy against the Bills team, who literally gave us a home where the Buffalo roam at halftime.
At halftime.
Vikings.
Stu, go with the next one.
All right, at home in Miami, where the Raiders kind of struggle. It looks to be humid and hot as hell on Sunday, and rainy as well. Dolphins playing solid football, not spectacular. Better on defense than they've shown on offense. Defense has 5 picks or 5 turnovers through 2 games. That's probably more than they had in the last 5 seasons. And the defense could have a nice day sacking Carr. They've been getting after the quarterbacks in the first 2 games. The Raiders' loss of Khalil Mack really hurts them. And if you're going to allow Tannehill some time and the Dolphins can open some holes, I think this could be a very nice day for the Miami Dolphins, which I might be watching on a tablet at a 2-year-old's friggin' birthday party.
Wow.
Anyway.
Well, going by what I just said, Raiders are 0-2. I expect them to go 0-3. Dolphins 2-0. So you have to be excited about that. And you were saying the defense is much better than you thought, but I actually was really impressed by Kenyon Drake. He's a better runner than I thought he was. I didn't give him enough credit. Tough runner, gets the yards, after contact, gets the yards between the tackles. And I heard today that Tannehill is 10-1 in his last 11 starts.
Yep.
Now, obviously, you're cherry picking that stat to get to 11 starts, but that was remarkable to me. And yes,
It's remarkable to us.
you're right. John Gruden is now saying, like, in interviews, going like, yeah, it's tough to generate a pass rush. Well, yeah, you took a once-in-a-generation type pass rusher, and you got rid of him, and you got Frosty Rucker, like, melting on the field in the middle of the fourth quarter. Like, if you watch electric football, you know we like Frosty Rucker. But the Raiders are not generating pressures.
No.
I believe Khalil Mack has more sacks than the Raiders have as a team right now. Give me the Dolphins.
All right. Broncos-Ravens.
Tough game.
Yep.
Tough game. Deathly Hollow. I'm going to give you this one. He got off a good line in the comments section about the Bengals getting arrested for assaulting the Ravens. And it's true. I was late to that game. I turned it on and it was just like, what's the score? Holy crap.
Yeah.
So maybe this is the year that the Bengals turn it around. Did they lose Joe Mixon? I think they lost Joe Mixon to injury right now.
I don't know.
But this is one that...
But we're talking Broncos-Ravens, so good luck with that.
Yes, we're talking... Oh, geez. I'm sorry. I skipped a game.
You did.
Well,
Let's finish that. We'll go back to Broncos-Raiders.
You want to do... No.
No, we're already halfway through your speech.
Okay. Yes, so I'm doing a horrible job. So that was Bengals at the Panthers. And I'm taking the Bengals for you, Deathly Hallow.
All right, I'm not sold on Cincinnati, but they have played well so far. They're facing a stingier Carolina defense, which could make them one-dimensional, and that's where I worry. Can McCaffrey break through against this team's defense with a big game here? I don't know. Cincinnati's defensive line can kind of hold you back here. I think he can get through, and Cam has to get better very quickly. He's been meh so far after a pretty solid season last year. This could be a high-scoring game, but I am taking the Panthers at home.
The loss of Greg Olsen, and no offense to McCaffrey, but he seems to be one of those guys. Like when you look at the end of the game, he's put up okay stats, especially in the passing game, but he doesn't really seem to have had an impact on the game. I don't know how to explain that, but there you go.
Okay.
All right, so backing up a bit, Denver at the Ravens, and this is also a very tough game to pick. I'm going with the 2-0 teams this week. I like Denver. I like what Case Keenum can do at the end of a game. Maybe this is he had a great season for us last year, and now he's a Bronco thing. But he's a guy that seems to thrive when unlike Christian McCaffrey, he can have a bad game, but when the chips are down late in the game and you have to make a play, he seems to make the damn play. I mean, like I said, I might be a biased Viking fan for what he did last year, but I'm going to take the Broncos on the road against the Ravens. But I'm going to admit, I had the Ravens, then I crossed them out, and then I had the Broncos, then I crossed them out, and then I had the Ravens. I'm taking the Broncos as my official pick.
Yeah, I think the Ravens have looked pedestrian so far, and the Broncos have a not great but decent running game right now, and that's going to be the key. If the Broncos can't run, I'm not so sure of their ability to win, but I am picking the Broncos because I just think they've played better than the Ravens. They're home, though. You never know.
Yeah, agree. So Giants at the Texans, and this one's a little difficult because they're both 0-2. But first off, hey, Lynn Redden, you can't trust your school to a racist superintendent, okay? In Piney Woods, Texas. Yeah, I know you're a little confused. Lynn Redden decided to go after my boy Deshaun Watson and say in some comment about you can't trust a black quarterback. You can trust Deshaun Watson. I don't care if he's off to a bad start. The man is of impeccable character and just a class individual and a hell of a player. Shut up, Lynn Red, and go back to Piney Woods, Texas, and I hope you lose your job. I don't know about you. I don't put out racist comments and then I don't go like, oh, gee, that was public. If I was going to put out a racist comment, I would make damn sure it was private. All right. If you're not smart enough to hide your racism, I hope you lose your damn job.
Or become
Anyway,
president.
I am picking the Texans.
The Giants
Did you
offense.
say or become president?
Yeah, well, it's one of the
Oh,
two.
after football goes political. Boom.
Giants offensive line looks like the turnstiles in the subway, leading to a very grimacing Eli Manning face. That guy, maybe they should have benched him for that game the other night because
No, not his fault.
no, not at all, for his safety.
Okay.
There's nothing going on with the Giants right now. If they win a game, I would be very surprised this year. I am so taking the Texans in this game.
Hey,
This could be ugly.
I actually want to back up and do more on that game. The Giants also lost an offensive lineman, their center, to injury, and you're looking at them right now. Shermer looks lost, and I love the guy because of what he did for the Vikings. The pick of Barkley seems to be just a gigantic mistake. It's almost like they should have taken Quentin Nelson in that spot. Passing on the quarterbacks, especially potentially Darnold, who's now with the team next door, and not getting an offensive line in front of an aging, non-mobile quarterback. Everyone around here, we're in New Jersey, everybody was screaming about, oh, look at the weapons. Oh, they're going to be so prolific. They've got Odell. They've got Saquon. They've got Ingram. Yeah, Shepard. They got Pace and Brown. You can have all the weapons you want. If the Cowboys are wearing Eli's jersey every two plays, it doesn't work. So, it's not quite Ben McAdoo yet, but Pat Shurmur better turn something around, and I don't think he's going to do it this week.
I don't think so either.
Texans at the Jaguars. And
Titans.
we got Titans at the Jaguars. Sorry, we were talking about the Texans. Boy, I'm having an off week.
Stevie needs
I'm
glasses.
going to walk away again.
He retired again.
Holy crap, Blake Bortles.
Jags made a statement.
Freaking amazing game. Perhaps the best game he's played as a pro that I've seen, for sure. He looked tough. He looked accurate. He looked confident. He looked like a leader. He looked mobile. What else do you want from the guy?
And they weren't playing conservatively at the end with the lead. They went for a bomb on a play where nobody was expecting it. I love that play calling.
Yeah, they had
We're going to win.
Statement game. They went out there and just put it to him. Bortles has never looked better. And you have to be a very, very worried rest of the NFL if you go, the Jaguars now have a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Because that was all that anybody said they were lacking. I mean, they're bringing in defensive linemen that would be starting for other teams. They're rotating them in.
Mm-hmm. And that's without Fournette playing. Fournette's on the sideline in that game.
No, but they're still solid in the running game.
Right.
They're solid all the way, and their offensive line is solid. There's nothing spectacular about that offense, but holy crap, with a good Bortles, they looked amazing. I was
very surprised.
Really, really impressed.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Jaguars, and I'm riding the Jaguars. I'm on that Jaguar. Go, baby.
I'm telling you, the Titans quarterback situation is still up in the air, and I wouldn't want to be going, back with the ball after saying hike with the Jags defenders coming at me. They could have 7 sacks in this game with a kind of weak Tennessee Titans offensive line. I smell her out. Jaguars.
Speaking of smelling her out, the 49ers at KC. And let me tell you, if the Lions put up 27 on San Francisco, what the hell is Mahomes and Hill and Kelsey and Watkins and Hunt? What are they going to put on them? Mahomes is already setting records for the most freaking touchdowns in 2 games. He's at 10. I think he's going to be at 15 after this game. I think this is another up and down the field, but I don't think Garoppolo can keep up with the weapons that KC at home is throwing at him. I'm with the Chiefs on this one, easy.
I question Andy Reid letting Alex Smith go for Mahomes, and Andy, I apologize.
Now you got to question him for playing Alex Smith last year.
Yeah, really.
What the hell?
Garoppolo finally gets, they all caught on, and he's not that big bag of chips you were expecting. I don't think the Niners can keep up with all the weapons that KC has. And every time I do this, every time I pick Kansas City, they disappoint me, but I am taking them.
They won't this time, Stu, because I took them to
Oh.
Chargers at Rams. And I can't even remember where these teams play anymore. Is it St. Louis? Is it
Raiders
San Diego? One of the many
Raiders,
problems the
Rams.
NFL has is that these teams move around. And speaking of the NFL, by the way, just finished Big Game by Mark Leibovich. Very good book if you want to know about the owners and Tom Brady and Jared Jones and Robert Kraft. And if you want to see Robert Kraft's girlfriend and wonder why she's with a 90-year-old guy named Robert Kraft.
I'm interested.
So he's a political reporter for the New York Times. Spent a lot of time and a lot of at the meetings. Here, hold on a second. Yeah,
Holy Christ.
that's Robert Kraft and his girlfriend. Come on, people. Tell me that's for love. Very good book, Mark Leibovich. Highly recommend it. Big Game, the NFL in Dangerous Times. Talking about Kaepernick, talking about Deflategate, talking about how the owners relate to each other.
Talk about pop music?
Really, talk about pop music. Talk about pop music. Sorry, a little thing there. So anyway, tougher test this week for the Rams, but they are the most balanced team on both sides of the ball that I have seen. I am going with the 2-0 teams, just like I'm going against the 0-2 teams. They're at home, and if there is one of the accusations in this book was that the Chargers had a welcome to Los Angeles thing, and they actually had to hire people to come and act like Chargers fans. Have you ever met a Chargers fan? Because
honestly,
I have not. And that's what he said.
I don't know a Chargers fan.
That's what he says in here. I know Jets fans.
Yep.
I know Colts fans. I know Viking fans. I know Lions fans. Never met. I know Jag fans.
Yeah, Saints fans.
Never met a damn
Hawks
Charger
fans.
fan in my life. Love their uniforms.
Yeah.
But I like the Rams in
Yeah,
this one,
Rams-
wherever the hell they play nowadays.
Rams look like they're going to the Super Bowl. Their defense is amazing. Their offense is just as hot. The Chargers lost to the Chiefs and beat the Bills. That tells me nothing about this
Nothing.
team. Absolutely. So I have no idea where they are. People were high on them in the preseason about how great they're going to be this season. And right now they're losing to good teams and beating bad teams. So what? I am taking the Rams. I think this is a blowout.
Yeah, Chargers, another one of those teams that ever since Norv Turner, you're looking at them and you're going, they have so much freaking talent. How do they not win? But they don't win. Cowboys at Seahawks. And another thing I learned in this book is that Jared Jones drinks Johnny Walker Blue. $250 bottles of Johnny Walker Blue. He used to sell shoes. He used to masturbate in his shoes, too. I don't know what that means. Why would you masturbate in the shoes, Stu? You masturbate a lot. What's the shoe got to do with it? But
well, their boots were made for walking.
and evidently wanking, too.
That's what I
Uh,
couldn't think of the word.
But if you thank you, we work well as a team. If you watch the Cowboys dominate the line of scrimmage against the Giants, and Seattle has a very similar offensive line. Russell Wilson has to do everything by himself. And if you watch, Seattle's offensive line looks feisty after the play is over. Late after the play is over, they're pushing guys and they're getting up in guys' faces. During the play, they're getting their asses kicked. So I expect Dallas to pressure Seattle. Seattle's defense looks old and slow. Pete Carroll no longer looks like some sort of hippie Zen master. He looks confused. So I'm taking the Cowboys as much as it pains me to do so.
All right. Well, this is the first home game for the Hawks. They've been on the road for the first 2 weeks, and the Cowboys hit the road after a seemingly easy victory against the Giants. On paper and statistically, the Cowboys, no doubt about it, look like the better team. But you got to figure they come up with even odds on a home field in Seattle. I think that home field is one of the few places where it matters that Seattle's at home. This is one of my upsets. I'm not convinced at all that Seattle is good. I'm basing it that they're 0-2. Their home opener, the place is going to be nuts, and I just think they squeak out a win here.
I think it used to matter. Right? I hear what you're saying. I thought about it for a second. It's a closer game than you would think, but I'm going Cowboys, so we'll see.
All right.
Chicago at the Cardinals. And before I go any further, another book that's out now, Football for a Buck, about the USFL. Donald Trump plays a big part in both Big Game, with his Kaepernick, throw the sons of bitch off the field. Why are they kneeling? And you got to remember, he was the owner of the New Jersey General. So Jeff Perlman, he's done This guy is much, Leibovich is much more of an actual journalist, reporter type guy. Perlman's my man for locker room gossip. He's done books on the Cowboys, Walter Payton, the '86 Mets. And if you want to know who was fighting with who in the locker room and who was, cheating on whose wife, Perlman's your man. So if you love that kind of stuff, and I really do, football for a buck.
And I just want you to know, here at the Electric Football Show, we support our library. Steve didn't go out and purchase these with his hard-earned money.
I can't afford that.
These are library books.
Fairlawn Library.
Maurice and Pine.
I'm actually going to be over there as soon as this show ends.
Because they're late.
If I'm sober enough to drive there.
Welcome to Buckles.
Chicago.
From here, you know that.
At the Cardinals. I don't even know that. I'm from here.
Buckles, the Bergen County Cooperative Library
Yeah,
System.
I use it all the time. bccls.org.
Yeah, Crown Jewel of Fairlawn.
Highly recommend it. Art Murray, love you, baby. Anyway, Chicago at the Cardinals. And I don't know if you watched the game. Trubisky really impresses me. And I know, he really does. He's very athletic, and he's very close to figuring it out. And, I know, they moved up for him. Oh, it's his second season. Why isn't he winning Super Bowls? But sometimes you do have to wait for these guys to develop. Alex Smith might be a good example thereof. And I think Trubisky has a much higher ceiling, so maybe that's not a great comparison. He's athletic as hell. He's fast. He's juking people. He has a strong arm. He needs to set his feet and hit the deep and intermediate passes. He's overthrowing everybody. And that's a real problem. But it's a correctable problem.
Mm-hmm.
And if he can fix that, if he can settle his feet, I don't know. You can talk all the guru stuff, make sure that he has proper arm position or that he rotates his hips or whatever. But if he gets slightly more accurate, they're going to be a dangerous team because Khalil Mack, he only has 8 tackles, but boy, they are an impactful 8 tackles.
Sure.
He's got 2 forced fumbles, 2 sacks. He's got a pick for a touchdown. You're wondering why you get a guy like this? Because you put him next to Roquan Smith, and all of a sudden you have a swarming defense. He's being double-teamed, so other guys are getting through.
And your offense is off the hook for having to do 75, 80-yard drives because you're getting the ball back.
Yes, and they're getting the ball back on turnovers, or they're scoring on turnovers. So I am becoming a little bit of a believer in the Bears. I don't think they're there yet, but I think they're headed in the right direction. And the Cardinals just aren't. There's just nothing about that organization.
They are literally almost the worst team in almost every category that you can possibly measure in football. Offense, defense, running, passing. There's
cheerleaders.
Nothing.
They got nothing.
Temperatures.
Yeah. Ownership. They got nothing.
There's nothing. The Bears offense, I'm going to disagree with you on Trubisky. Right now, I don't think he looks comfortable back there. He hasn't shown me that he can be consistent with the ball. You're right. He's overthrowing a lot of guys that are open.
But he's making the right reads. Like, he's not
great. I can make the right read, but I can't throw the ball 20 yards without pulling a muscle. It's not going to help the Bears that I'm their quarterback. Anyway, I think he's a good athlete. I don't know that he's the guy yet. I'm still,
Not yet, but he's trending towards it. Comments, people. Comments. Trubisky. Yeah. Have you watched him? Are you impressed or not?
Not yet. Bears are good enough to win. I'm taking the Bears.
All right. Pats at the Lions. And we hit on this a little bit earlier. Pats at 1-1 are a dangerous team. Lions are 0-2.
Do your job!
And have looked horrible. Boy, that scared the shit out of me.
Thank you.
And the Pats go out and get Josh Gordon. It's not brain surgery when you go, their big problem right now is they don't have a number 1 wide receiver. The thing with Brandon Cooks evidently didn't work out. Edelman will be back soon. Hogan is serviceable, but they needed a great wide receiver, and potentially Josh Gordon is that. I mean, yes, could he walk into that locker room and turn it into chaos for a week, and they will send him packing? They don't play around about that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is it likely to go into a locker room that has leaders like Tom Brady and Hightower and change them? Like, no. He's probably going to go in there and just say, holy shit, I'm barely hanging on to my NFL career. If he can stay sober, and God, I hope he can. He's a talented wide receiver. There's no doubt about that. They desperately need a talented wide receiver. And what do they give up for it? A 5th-round pick? I mean, Christ, I'd send Laquan Treadwell packing and take Josh Gordon at this point. So the Patriots make another smart move, low risk, potentially high reward. The Lions look absolutely clueless. Belichick going against Patricia. There's the master versus the disciple.
That's the only interesting thing about this game.
Yeah, but do you
Detroit
think
looks like a load of stinky battle?
they look like what might be in Matt Patricia's pants after a game? Do you think that the disciple is going to snatch the pebble from the master's hands? Hell no.
Best of 2 of 3.
The Pats take this one pretty easily.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. That I expect to have Gronk to have an amazing day in the Pats role.
All right, so we finish up with the Steelers at the Buccaneers, and as the Steelers turn, or the days of our Steelers, like what is the better soap opera name for this? I said it in our first week, and there you go. You got Antonio Brown, fighting with ex-PR guys. Oh, so trade me if Ben Roethlisberger made me the player I am. You got him no-showing. This is the guy that was like Facebook living while the coach was talking. There is a distinct grumbling that Mike Tomlin, Blinky as I like to call him, has lost the locker room. And the Steelers, Le'Veon Bell, the whole saga, the offensive linemen throwing shade. I hate to use terms like that, but, being disparaging of their teammate. It really does seem like they're more interested in making headlines and, reality TV-like stuff than they are in winning games right now, and it's a shame. Buccaneers are off to an amazing start. Speaking of a little bit of drama, Deshaun Jackson is out there going like, I'd keep Fitzmagic in there if I was coaching, but I'm not coach, but he throws me the damn ball deep.
You don't switch until Fitzpatrick becomes, his middle name inconsistent, Fitzpatrick. He shows signs of brilliance on the field, and then he has a couple crap games where,
That's the question, though. Can they get through the crap games?
I don't know. I don't think they're that good. And by the way, Minka Fitzpatrick trademarked Fitzmagic.
Yes, he did.
But allowed Fitzpatrick to use it. Anyway.
And Fitzpatrick stole Conor McGregor's look because at the press conference, if he had that stupid, ugly tattoo on his chest, he could be fighting Nate Diaz in a week.
I love the balls he had showing up to the after game dressed like whatever that.
Dressed like Cam Newton.
He was dressed like. Man,
dressed like Cam Newton. Fitzpatrick, fun guy. God bless him. But if you're a Jets fan, like late in the season, it can turn ugly. And at one game you need to win at Buffalo, doesn't happen. But I will take them to beat a reeling Steelers team right now.
Yeah, can the Steelers win here? Yes, they can win here. No doubt about it. But the Saints are a team that are playing with confidence. They don't have big stars on their team. But
Bucks.
What did I say?
Saints.
Ah, frig, sorry.
That's been a horrible electric football focus.
It really is. And I do have Steelers Bucks. I mean, that's what the notes say. I just can't read because I'm old. Yeah,
Bucks, baby,
so
Bucks.
The Bucks have nobody on the team that's a star, which would negate my Saints comment. But they're playing with confidence. They have nothing to lose. Everyone picked them to be the cellar dweller, and every team in Florida right now is 2-0, which is crazy. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win this game. I think all the anguish and all the nonsense that's going on in the Steelers locker room is creating too much havoc on their play. They almost lost to the freaking Browns.
Yeah.
TJ
Watt.
I'm sorry. I think they're really in trouble. I like Mike Tomlin. I think he's a fine coach. I agree with you that I think he's lost the locker room. I think they have to and will regroup. I just don't think it's this week. Tampa Bay's home. They're 2-0. They got nothing. They are playing loosey-goosey in a position they weren't meant to be in. And I like the Bucks here.
We're going to be playing loosey-goosey in a couple seconds because that's the end of electric football.
Comments, please. We love it.
We love you. We try and get back to you. Subscribe if you want. Subscribe if you don't want because we need subscribers.
And watch the other NFL YouTube prognosticators. They're a lot of fun. They're good guys. And they support us, and we support them. So,
Half Moon, Geo,
Andrew Warren,
others, various others, and sundry.
And that guy, and there you are. We'll see you next week.